Hello, welcome to our weekly transits. And I am starting a day back because you can see that at this time it was at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. The sun was just about to enter Aries. Okay, let's just let's go by hour. Let's see if it's an hour away. One, two, see how far we get it. We're still right there. Okay, so yesterday, March 20th at almost 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, you can see the sun. Let me get this back over here. You can see the sun just moved into Aries, and you can see the moon close on the heels. The moon's got to finish up through, it's travel through Pisces before it, got to be the new moon. So interesting because the moon, a few things are going to happen here. And actually, I want to go back just um, back there an hour because we kind of come into the middle of the story here. It's like, all right, so the moon, where's Neptune here? Neptune at the end of this degree, the moon is going to be going over Neptune, right? So the moon is going to be in that, or it was, kind of in that real dreamy or out there, or getting the dreams, tying it together, getting that deep touch before it got into this new creation. Because this is the new season, part of the season. This should be the first day of the new year, but we celebrate it differently. This would only make sense, if to celebrate and to start the year at zero Aries, if you're the northern hemisphere, because that's like a true starting point. And this year, the moon is going to be right there with the sun. So you could see how interesting this is. But Pluto right here at 29 degrees, when the moon gets over to here, it's going to make this nice sextile. So the moon is not only going to conjunct Neptune, but they'll both sextile over to Pluto. So making a nice getting away from energy. Is that the best way I can say it? A nice moving off energy. All right. Um, then we will go, let me move it by the day now. There. Okay. So we can see now that that's sort of how we get into that. Like last night, you should have been into that sort of dream time, or into, your inner self, or part of your, bringing forth what you want this new moon to do. This is the spring season. This is the start of the new astrological year. Yesterday also was International Astrology Day. Okay, so today, we could see that the moon. Let's just go back on a nice. I like to make it pretty. Let's go back when it was right there on it. It was right at 0 degrees. Okay, let's go hour. Right there. It was like 12. I want to do by the minute. Can I do minute? Because it'd be like so cool. Let's go back 1 minute. 12:22. I just like numbers like that. Okay. So um it was pretty close. I mean, it's like I'm just getting the degrees ready for you. I mean, it was, well, we could change the minutes off on the bottom, but I just wanted you to see it like that. Okay, so moon goes over Neptune, conjuncts Neptune, and then it sextiles Pluto right before it co-joins with the sun. Moon's busy. Okay, look at that. Look at that nice lineup there at stellium and Aries. Woo! We have got Chiron over there between Jupiter and Mercury. Thought I put that in there, but it's just interesting to see that lineup. And it'll go fast. So today should definitely feel like a new day. I mean, like a new energy for sure. Okay, what else do we have? What's going on here? Well, we've got Mars. Just ignore the stuff on the bottom. These are just points, the vertex and the south node. But look at the chart and you'll see the bowl pattern. We've got Mars and Pluto, the malefics. I think we mentioned this last week, on the edge of the bowl, right on the outside edge of the bowl. And then look at all that stuff inside it, like collecting near the bottom. Isn't that odd? It's like all this kind of, at the bottom of the bowl, and then we've got the rim, over here. So Interesting. I think it's kind of like sizzling. Yeah. All right. So we have that, we have all this contained in the bowl, and then we've got the malefics on top, is leading those. Remember we looked at like Freddie Mercury, and we had like Uranus on one end and Moon on the other or something. It's interesting to look at these uh look at the planets at the head and the at the end of the group. So that's what's happening. We have Pluto, we've got Mars leading, right? It's like in leading the pack, the sun, everything's moving, we're going into summer, and then Pluto's just going to hang out there and be our anchor point, and all these planets are going to widen out. But right now it's kind of nice. It's like a nice, neat little pattern. So what else do we have going on? We can just see, what a few things will be happening. You can see that Mercury is flying, it's going to be going through Aries, and then it will come in, and get closer over here. Venus will, it just changed signs now, into her home sign. And Venus is going to, it's right there now on the North Node. It's making a conjunction, today with the North Node, and then it will make a conjunction with Uranus. Well, what is that? And right now, Venus and Mercury are at that odd angle, and Mercury is at that, odd angle to those. So there's like some disconcerting information being forced out. Let me put it that way. There's some disgruntled, disconcerting information being forced, Aries, out, that North Node. So I think it's going to get more intense as Venus gets closer to Uranus. It's crossing the North Node right now. All right, and then Pluto is just going to continue. I mean, Mars is going to continue this little square with Pluto, because Pluto, will change signs. We'll talk about it in a minute. It's going to go into this sign, and then Mars is going to change signs in this sign. Pluto will go into Aquarius, and then Mars will go into Cancer. So they're going to still be at that, that odd angle to each other. That they're just be that in conjunct. If I said square, I'm sorry. In conjunct, that odd, yucky kind of weird angle. So what else was I going to say about that? Oh, but Mars will be coming into, it's kind of a working trine, as it goes, it's getting close now, but it's going to be in that trine with Saturn, especially when it changes into the next sign, but it's getting closer to trining Saturn. So you can't have it all. Mars is like in an icky, in conjunct with Pluto. So that makes me think also more disconcerting information is coming out. And Mars, the ruler of Mars is in Aries, and all these things are in Aries, and Mercury is in Aries, which is communication, and it just went over the sun. He'd being illuminated, and it's going to go over Chiron, so it will be things to and then on your own life, things to heal. It's got to be talked about, it's got to be brought up. And here being in Aries, it can be brought up kind of coarsely or rashly or harshly, but it's still going to be brought up. Okay, a lot. This is like a jam-packed. It's not something every day, but these are some jam-packed things this week. It's just like one of those weeks. All right. Wednesday, we've got it's kind of like still same thing. Venus went over North Node. Nothing else really going on there. What notes do I have on Wednesday? The moon mainly. We got the moon just, well, here it's still going through Aries, so we got all this noise, still going on. And whoops. Okay. Moon, it's just into the end of Aries. Let me go back one. Just gotta look at some of these degrees. Hold on, where's the moon? All right. Interesting here. The moon 26 Aries, as it gets closer to the end of that, can I go ahead an hour? It changes. Okay, so like it's just almost making this annoying aspect over to Pluto. So the moon is closing in on that square, and then Pluto changes signs. right? So here we go on Thursday, so we can see the moon. It's going to move into Taurus. Boom. Where'd it go? Oh, it's Aries still. Got to move a couple hours. Oh, I still got on here for you. It's okay. I want you to see that there, Pluto. Okay, so on Thursday, the moon is, it's like at 10 in the morning, it's in the end of Aries. So by noon, it will be in Taurus and starting this track. But here we go. Pluto, this is the big deal, moves into Aquarius. Ding, 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 ding. All right, why is that a big deal? Well, it's been in Capricorn for the last 18 years, and it's going to move into Aquarius for the next 20 years. Well, they're both Saturn ruled signs. We're just going from one authoritarian structure to the hive mind, the out there, the people. Also, Aquarius is a little bit of both of that, but it's new structure to the government, to what we think government is, to what things govern us. We're definitely going to go through that. But here's the kicker. Pluto, it's going to be starting its retrograde phase, so it's going to move ahead like, a little bit, and I think it's in June that it hits its retrograde phase, and then it's going to start retroing back, and it'll go back into Capricorn for like, the summer, and then it'll start direct again, and it won't move out. I think it won't move into the next, back into Aquarius till next year. Well, I know it's not next year. I can't remember the month. Maybe I don't know. We can see in a minute, but it doesn't matter at the moment. So anyway, it's going to dip its toe in. We're going to get a little taste of what this is going to be all about. And then I think there's going to be, all the stops are going to be pulled out. It's going to could get crazy. I got to read you this one. I can't remember where I found this one, but this one is as Pluto goes into Aquarius. All right. A generation long period begins in which spreading equality of opportunity is a prime cultural force, a time to reforge society and hand it to the common people. Sounds good, right? Independence of operation is the order of the day, as is great expansion. The resulting generation, however, will have a hard time holding together what results as a unity. The resulting generation, however, will have a hard time holding together what results as a unity. Very interesting, because we know that there's a whole lot of things in place that are going to come down, and we can't know how this, we know the house of cards is collapsing, and we know that the generation of Pluto and Aquarius was opposite Pluto in Leo. Pluto in Leo was the baby boom. That was the baby boomers. And then it's now Pluto is going to go through its opposite sign, so that means lack of babies. And we can see that with all the crap going on, what's going on in the world. The jabbed thing, all of the jab stuff is, it's coming out now, the truth about that, and how it's affecting fertility in people, and all the movies that have come out and documentaries that have come out. Died suddenly, there's several volumes of that. There's I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's been a lot. Stu Peters network, there's a ton of stuff on that. The pandemic, Del Bigtree, lots of people have created a lot of good information. So that's part of this coming out. But we also know, being astrologers, we know that Pluto moving this next 20 years is, we can see the birth rates and all that about to fall. And we also know that the moon nodes are about to move. We see that they're at the end degree of Taurus. Look at the north node, end degree of Taurus at 5 degrees, and they move backwards. So when the north node moves into Aries, that's when we start on our financial downfall. And it's coming. And we can see with the bank failures, this happening. And we know, if we're astute astrologers and astute people, we know that the powers that be want to bring about a whole new money system. And this is part of that. And then Pluto in Aquarius, it's like all of that has to be redone, but it's going to not be real pretty and good for a while, especially Pluto when it dips back into Capricorn. There's going to be the last ditch authoritarian control. So we have to expect that, and we can know these dates, and we'll continue to look at that, and you can look them up also in ephemeris, but just so you see the big picture. So I'm dwelling on this because this is a big deal. This is going to set a tone for the next little while of all of our lives. Um, you know, um, Pluto now is getting into the longer part of its orbit, and it will be taking longer to go through each sign. When it was going through, Libra and Scorpio, I think there was like 12 years, maybe 13 years, and then like when it went to Sagittarius, it went through there was like maybe 16 years, and then it took 18 years to go through Capricorn, and now Aquarius will be like 20 years. So you can see it's lengthening. So it'll spend longer in these signs, and then when it gets to Pisces, it'll be longer yet, and it'll be so dissolving. That's kind of very interesting. I don't even want to think about that at the moment. But okay, I want to move on. Let's go now that you can see that. So this is a big deal. But anyway, this is also a couple days before that. When this new moon is a time to set your intentions for the year, and really knowing what we're coming into. You know, make your put your money in wise areas, make wise decisions based on what we see with the world happening right now. Okay, so we got this Pluto moving in there, and this has been a month of change. Look at all almost, other than Neptune um and Uranus, all the signs, all the planets have changed signs, right? I mean, the sun, of course, just moved into Aries, Mercury into Aries, Venus just moved into Taurus. Um, Saturn moved into Pisces. Pluto's moved into Aquarius here, and then you will see um, on Saturday Mars moves into uh, Cancer there, and you see it making that um, in conjunct over here to Pluto. It continues its in conjunct. Look at that. I mean, it's just interesting. It just floors me when I can see the aspects in these. Just they're vying for this position. Mars will speed ahead, but like up here till this, we've got a little bit of this angst. It's not done yet. Here Venus is now by Saturday, Venus is over the North Node, and it's on her way to go kick in with Uranus, and then the moon just went over all that, energizing it. So moon went bring, and Venus is now bring. And when Venus hits Uranus, that will be interesting. Let's just look ahead and see what day that actually is. Next Thursday. Okay, a week from 2 days from now, right? It'd be on the 30th, the end of the month. So that, circle that, coming into a Wednesday, a week from now, week Wednesday and Thursday is Venus comes into that. That's very interesting. Okay, so let's go back. We'll get there next week, but I just wanted to point that out because that's something to know. You may or may not want to do things that day, depending on what you're doing. But Venus, in Taurus too, makes me think strange weather. Earthquakes, earth slides, mud, um, instantaneous things. Earth things giving way or having oddities. So beware of that if in your areas too. Looking at astro weather, meteorology. Okay, where are we here? Saturday. What else? And let's see, coming to Sunday. Let's see, what else do I have? We got going on Saturday. We had that. The Mars move there. We have that. We have the moon going over that. I think these are all my notes here. Yeah, these are the big things. And then, Sunday and Monday is kind of like the aftermath of some of that. We've got the sun working its way toward Chiron. Let's see when it actually conjuncts Chiron as well. April 5th. So that will be interesting. Having some healing moments around the 5th and 6th, my birthday in the 6th. But that will be interesting. Let's see what else. I just want to see when that was. Let's go back. So yeah, the end. I mean, this it's coming. We had the. This is a very interesting month. I would say that it was in like a lamb and out like a lion. Maybe is that what we say about March? Let's just look here around here. What else do we see? Other than the moon making aspects. That's kind of the biggest one. We've got things settling down. We got the Saturn Mars. As Mars now moves into the sign. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Mars. Being in its detriment. It's the opposite of its rulership. It wants to be in Aries, but it's now having to be in Cancer. So I just have to say, it's been a long trek there in Gemini. You think that Mars would have, it's like, yay, I get to be in Gemini. It's like, two signs away. I get along with it. We're both outward. I get to go do stuff. And then, I go retrograde. And then I got to go through my shadow again. I got to do this again. Ah. And then I finally get moving. And then I go into where I'm not really happy. Well, it may be an adjustment to putting that energy into the home, putting it into home or family, putting it into patriotism. Our big family. The world. Each of our local areas is a bigger family. We need to be concerned. Think think globally and act locally kind of thing. We need to be concerned with things and putting this Mars energy into that caring of our roots of that base. So I think that's what we're going to see with that, because people want to come together. And there's been all of this stuff to make us divide, to pit one against the other. But the aware person, I think, you know knows that there's a lot of that crap being perpetrated on us. And we just have to keep holding the light for our brothers and sisters, and not fall victim to all of that unnecessary activity. Let's put it that way. So I think that is a good thing with Mars there. So it's going to gain momentum, and then maybe be in a preparatory phase of getting all that together before it goes into a sister sign of Leo, where it's going to maybe just let loose. So now it has to maybe set up a little set its game up a little bit before it gets into that. We got to look ahead, as astrologers. We got to see what's coming. And then, soon, Mercury will go retrograde. Let's look at that. Let's just go by weeks. Okay, so let's see how far Mercury goes, and then we'll be about done for today, but we like to look ahead. So Mercury there. I already passed it. I know it was slowing down. Okay, so it passes the sun. Let's go. Let's see. We're at April, right around the middle of April. Yeah. Okay, so it's like, okay, it's by the week. So April 9th, it's starting to slow down. It's at, it dips its foot into Taurus. It gets about halfway through Taurus, maybe a little bit before that, but yeah, about halfway through Taurus, then it will retrograde back. Let's go see how, whoops. Let's just go forward. Looking at Mercury. There it is, stationary. It goes to 5 degrees Taurus. So it just does its little dido in Taurus. Okay, so then in the middle of May, it will start moving forward again. So like third week of April to, it's like 3 weeks, middle of May. So get stuff done now before like the third week of April, at least on that level. So, we're looking ahead. We see that going on. And then we still have Pluto here, you see, but it's a retrograde now. It's like, okay, so let's just, while we're here, let's see, when does it, I think it's in June, Pluto goes. Oh, I already, what I'm doing. I'm already looking here. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Duh. I'm on to see when it goes back into Capricorn. Come on. Oh, maybe like June 11th there. So yeah, right there. It goes at 29 degrees. So like I knew it was like the second week or so of June. So okay. We've got a little bit of reprieve of things here, but now look, by then Mars is in Leo, and then Venus is in Leo. So this is interesting. I just can't help but look ahead. So we have, these two, the lover planets, getting closer together to conjunct here in Leo. And then we have Pluto going back here. So we've got some energy to kind of, I think, oppose that. And here, look, it's going to Let's see if it catches it. They're moving together. Mars is pulling away. Yeah, because Venus is doing her retrograde. Yeah, I knew it was like right around then too. Okay, so right around the end of July, Venus is gonna, gets almost up to Mars, and then oh no, Mars is pulling away, it's slowing down. So I guess that was the closest it got. Okay, so we've got a few good things, interesting things coming up here. Venus will retrograde there in summertime, so that's like things of value. So if there's some monetary, it's also could be a monetary downturn. Venus values um, retrograde time, and it will go back over Mercury. Let's see. Yep, look at there. But we'll get there. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little heads up on some things coming ahead. We've got, and to just focus right now on the here and now. Get your priorities together. Use this Aries new moon to understand the areas of life that we're coming into. This is really important. I think this is a good week, and it's really good to know, get the overall picture so that you're in a better position. All right, more to follow, and we'll see you all next week. Bye for now.